Hello, everyone. My name is Nancy, and you're welcome to my session on designing a complete brand identity system using Adobe Illustrator fonts and colors. So let's get right into it. So today's agenda, we will be discussing the introduction to branding, and we will talk about strategy, brand strategy, and also talk about the main thing why we are here, which is the logo design. And we'll talk about color and typography, and lastly, the brand guide. So a little bit of introduction. So my name is Nancy Agyemang, as you may already know from the flyer, and I help impact-driven startups to build high-value brands using strategy, design, and mindset reorientation. And I'm currently studying at KU Leuven, a Bachelor of Business Administration, and I've been designing since 2020. I am also very passionate about education and how we can empower students to take charge of their education. So I find this very important and a great privilege to help you to gain some skills in branding. So let's get straight to why we are here. So you may be wondering what a brand is. Before we go into the technical aspect, I want us to understand certain things first. So I want us to understand the basics first. So when we talk about a brand, you hear of a brand, branding, brand identity. What is the difference between all these? So a brand is basically the perception that people have of your business or the reputation that you have in the market. And when it comes to a brand, you don't have total control over it. It is also controlled by stakeholders, by your customers, by employees, by your investors, and so many people interested in your brand. So it's not only you don't always have the full or the total control. It is controlled by other people as well. So it's just a perception that people have of your brand. So what branding is actually the process of building or influencing that perception that people have of you. So all that you see these big companies do is that they are trying to shape the perception that you have of them. They are trying to shape it in a certain direction. So that is what branding is about. And it involves a whole lot of things, which is a strategy, designing, and all those things. You'll get into it shortly. Also, we would talk about brand identity. When we say brand identity, it is basically what represents your business. So we are talking about the logo, the colors, typography, your images, your icons, and so many other things that encompasses your brand identity. So for example, when we bring it in practice, I always use Ghana as an example. So when we talk about Ghana, there are so many things that will make you know that we are talking about Ghana. So when we see, the first thing is surely a flag. When you see the Ghana flag, you automatically know that this is Ghana. So it's like our identity. So our food, symbolisms, our music, our people, and then our history. All these things make up who we are as Ghanaians. So that is what branding is about. So when we have a company, everything in between, our name, our colors, the way we talk to our customers, all these things make up who we are as a brand. And so, but before you go into designing logos or designing anything, it is very important to do strategy first. And why is it important? So when you involve your process, when you do brand strategy first, it sets you on the right direction as a company and also as a designer. It sets you on the right direction and you're able to set realistic goals for the brand because you'll be able to measure that goals. So when we create a brand strategy, it gives us the ability to measure success and also get to know if our brand is doing well or not in the market. So what does it entail? It entails your brand purpose. Brand purpose is basically why you exist beyond making money. And also for startups, why the brand exists beyond the owner being his or her own boss or being a CEO. It has to go deeper. Why are you in business? Why are you serving your people? To what end? So you should, this is what strategy helps you to achieve. Be able to get to know the core of the brand. And also it helps you to understand the target market, the people that you are trying to sell to, the people you are trying to reach. You're able to define who these people are, where they live, what they like, their aspirations, their achievements, their pain points, and how you can help them. And also, brand strategy helps us to learn about our competitors. Because if you're able to know what is already out there, what other people are already doing, we'll be able to differentiate ourselves. So if you are a designer or you are a business owner, you should take this into consideration, that you need to know about your competitors, what is already in the market. You need to be aware. Even though sometimes you don't necessarily compete with some brands, you can collaborate with them, but it's very important to know what is already out there so you are prepared and you are able to differentiate yourself from the rest. Also, brand strategy entails brand values, defining our brand values or defining what the brand stands for. So the values could be honesty, like those things, freedom, the things that the brand stands for. And then the strategy also helps us to discover and define our brand personality. So who are we? How do we sound when we talk? What do we say? All those things make up who we are. So actually engaging in brand strategy helps us to discover all these things. And then it helps us to clarify our brand message. What are we telling our people? What is this brand trying to tell its target audience? That message, how are we going to shape it? How are we going to bring forth our message so our target audience understand and be able to relate to it? So this is why it's very important to do strategy first before you go into designing anything. That is my experience. That's what I think it's right for you to do. We can also compare it to building a house. You can't just go ahead and start building a house. You need to draw a plan. You need to have a foundation. You need to know where you want to put what. So that's basically what brand strategy is all about. So we are going to use a fictive company or a fictive startup to be able to understand all these things that I am talking about. So our fictive company is Money Goals. So Money Goals is a personal finance platform for young people. So from all that we have learned so far, the brand purpose of this startup could be that to make personal finance fun, educative, and easy to understand for young people. And so when we talk of young people, we need to define exactly who we are trying to target. So our target audience is young people between the ages of 18 to 30. So what they care about or what the aspirations are is that they want to make and save money to reach their financial goals in a more fun and friendly way. So it goes beyond the things I've written here. You need to dig deeper into the target audience. You need to know where they live. You need to interview some of them to be able to understand their pain points well, because you need to be able to put you need to be able to put yourself in their shoes to understand them and to design a solution that is best suited for them. And so for Money Goals, we also came up with competitors who are also fictive companies. So let's say Money Manager, they also help young people in the same way. Money Matters, they also talk about money. But then when we know what they do, we'll be able to understand how we are going to differentiate ourselves. I hope you get where I'm going with this. Yeah. So in the same light, we also talk about we also have to talk about the values, the brand values of Money Goals. We are still using a fictive company to define what we are doing. So the brand values for Manigos is simplicity, because we want to make it as simple as possible for young people to understand, because we know how finance can be. Too much numbers, too much data. So it becomes boring, and people don't really, especially young people, don't really want to associate themselves with it. They don't want to even talk to any finance person. So all these things can come up when you do more research. So the brand strategy, as we spoke about already, helps you to research more into the things that you want to bring forth, like your target audience, your competitors, how you want to differentiate yourself. Research will help you do that. And research, I mean by proper research, because you want to help a business. As a designer, you want to help a business to, their main aim is to make money and to also reach their target audience. So you have to do proper research. And also as a business, you need to understand your values. All these things, you need to research on it. So the values for Manigos is simplicity, education, because we want to educate young people about finance, and a community where young people can come together. They know they have other people that they are on this journey with, and also make it fun, because finance can also be fun. It doesn't always have to be rigid. So since we are going for fun, our personality is more easygoing, friendly, we are vibrant, and we are very engaging. And then the messaging, what do we want to bring forth? So our main messaging pillar is financial education. That's what we want to do. So we want to make it easy for young people to understand finance. And then our second messaging pillar is personal development, which is helping young people to achieve their personal goals with freedom. Because when they are able to save money, they can enjoy the freedom that they want, and they can achieve all their goals. So that is what our messaging, our second messaging pillar is about. And the last one is flexibility, where we are allowing them to save or to achieve their money goals without any pressure. Like no one pressuring them that, oh, you are at this age, maybe you are 20 and you don't have any job, or you don't have this amount of money saved. We want to give them that flexibility, so they are able to save at their own pace, and then to achieve their goals on their own terms. So that is what basically our brand strategy, our small brand strategy here is all about. And as I said already, you need to do more research, proper research. So you talk to people, and also do desk research, which is online research, and find out what is already out there and what people are looking for. So we come to the logo design aspect. Now that we know who we are at the core as a brand, we need to understand what logo design is all about. And when it comes to logo designs, we have different types of logos. So we have the logo type. So it's basically a brand name, like the name of the company written in a styled font, or it could be in any simple fonts, as you can see, very simple. And also the logo mark, which is the icon that represents the brand, and the combination mark, which is also both the logo mark, the mark, and then the type brought together. Always when for startups or for small businesses, it's very advisable, or it's advisable to use a combination mark, because you are now getting into the market. So people need to know your name. People need to know who you are, because they can't associate just your mark with anything, because they don't know you yet. So it's advisable that you always attach your icon to your logo type, which is the combination mark, so people can learn about your brand, the name of your brand, basically. Okay, so when it comes to designing a logo, there are certain things you need to take into consideration. I have only 4 here, but there are so many of them. But these 4 are the main things that you need to take into consideration. So we have the features of an effective logo, which is it has to be simple. Simple means it has to be straightforward and not complicated. People need to they just, as soon as people see it, they should be able to recognize it easily. So it should be simple. And then people would be able, when it's simple and it's straightforward, not complicated, people will be able to remember it easily, like the swoosh logo of Nike. And then it has to be memorable. Memorable means it has to create some meaningful impression in the minds of people. So especially when you have positive associations with your brand. So let's say when we talk about Disney, it's like fun for children. So when people remember, and when people go to Disneyland, they go there to have experiences, memorable experiences. So your logo should be memorable. In as much as it should be simple, it should also be memorable. And then appropriate. So appropriate here can mean so many things. So it should be able to fit the industry. Although you need to be distinctive, as the last one says, it should also be able to um, fit into the industry. So you don't want to have something that is very offensive for a governmental agency's logo. It wouldn't work. So for a logo to work, it should be appropriate to the industry. Although you can try to be distinctive, try to stand out of the pack, but you should bear in mind that the logo should be appropriate. And then also definitely it should be distinctive. That's in a sense that I think there are so many logos which have already been, which already exist, but then I believe that you can try hard to achieve quite a distinct logo. That will be, wouldn't be easy to replicate. So in practice, this is what we are going to design. We are going to design a simple logo using Adobe Illustrator. This is our money goes. This is what we are going to design. So we have here the combination mark, the logo mark or the icon, and then the logo type. So we are going to design that right now in practice. So here I'm going to show you how you're going to create. Okay, so now we are going to design the logo itself. Now that we know how to create the file in Illustrator, we are going to design the logo itself. So I'm going to share a video here.
Recording in progress.
Okay, so now that we are done, sorry. So now that we are done designing our logo, I want us to look at the typography. I want us to look at our typography. So how do you choose the perfect font for your logo design or for your brand? So when we talk about typography, we have typeface and font. So the typeface is basically then what the font is all about, like the design of a collection of letter forms. So for example, we have Montserrat, we have Poppins, we have Georgia, we have Helvetica. These are all typefaces. And when we talk about fonts, we have the digital file that contains a typeface and displays it on your screen. So it's basically the typeface, and then whether it's bold, italic, or regular, and then the points, the size, basically. So it's the typeface, the font weight, and then the size that make up the fonts in general. So there are so many digital tools that you can use to find your fonts, that you can use to find fonts. So we have Adobe fonts, or you can also search on Google Fonts for nice, beautiful fonts. So I'm going to click those ones. And also with the creative markets, the fonts there are sold. So you can buy some of them if you want a very distinct typography. You can also buy from some of these online shops. So let's work with our logos. So for our brand in practice, we are trying to go for something that is fun and also friendly, but at the same time, we remember that we are dealing with finance. So our logo must convey the right mood and also must convey the right tone, relevant and practical in the context of our design. So though we are trying to be fun and playful, we also understand that we have finance. So the financial, when we are trying to write numbers in finance, we want them to be legible enough. We want people to be able to read it well and understand. So we use fonts that are clear, and we also want to be modern. So we are trying to use typefaces like sans serif. So this is what we chose. So this is just a guide to help you choose your typography. So for our brand that we are trying to design, this is what we've chosen to give us that modern and that unconventional feel, especially with the argon regular type logo or typeface here. So when we bring everything together, so let's say you want to use your typography on your website, your social media content, posters, or flyers, anything. This is how it comes together. So for a title, you need to create something that is bold to catch people's attention. So we used our Jekyll Sans bold, and then for our subtitle, we don't want to attract, or we don't want too much attention. We don't want to create so many things on our page. So you want it to look good to people. People must be able to read it well, and it must be pleasing to the eyes. It must be appealing also. So we use something that is a bit lighter than the title. And then for our text, we use the argon regular. So when in choosing a text, you don't have to choose too many texts. You don't have to use so many of them. One or two is fine. One or two is always fine. So now what we want to do is that we want to design the full logo. We want to include our typography to the icon that we have. So now that we know what our typography is and we have we have included it into our logo, we need to also talk about colors. When it comes to colors, there are so many things we need to take into consideration, like the personality of the brand, the tone, and then the mood. So these are some basic things that you should know. Warm colors, they are like such as red, yellow, and orange. They are mostly used to represent warm, energetic, fun, playful, cheerful brands. So these colors are bold. And then we have the cool colors, which are blue, green, and purple, which evoke some chilly feeling and also some kind of trust and crisp feeling. So they are mostly calm, soothing, and refreshing, and very peaceful. So to be able to find colors for your brand, you can always use Adobe Colors or Cooler. So let me show you how this works by going into Adobe Colors. So when you go onto the website of Adobe Color, this is what you find. So here you can find the color wheel. You can always move it to suit the ones you want, depending on the personality, the tone, and the mood of the brand, as I have already mentioned. So whichever way you want it, you can drag it here, or you can, so here you have the different types, the rules, it's on this side. You can always experiment with it. You can always experiment with it. So colors have different personalities, like we mentioned that warm colors like red, yellow, and orange have this energetic feel. It doesn't always mean that you have to use it for only brands that are energetic. So when you want to be different, you want to be innovative, you want to stand out from your industry, you can always use colors that are usually not used for your industry to stand out. It all boils down to how you make these colors work for your brand. And so here you can also find explore. You can find some already created palettes here. There are a lot of resources here that you can always find. You can also type. So let's say for us, you can search for the color you want. We are talking about finance. So we can just type finance. And then we will have so many brands or so many color palettes relating to finance. So this is how it works. It's the same for the other one that I showed. So it's the same for coolers. So let's also try that. So with this one, you can start a generator. And you click on it. This is what you get. So with this one, it's some form of a fun way to find color palette. So you can click the space button on your computer to just switch between the different color palettes to find the one that suits your brand. So if you are starting out and you're not sure how to choose colors, you can always go with some of these color palettes. Then also go with your discretion to know that this works or this might not work for the brand. Okay, so let's go back to our brand. So Money Goals color palette. So we want to go for something that is friendly, fun, educative, and also finance. So in finance, mostly you see that they use blue, like very cool. The cool one is toned down to represent security, because you are dealing with money. So people want to be sure that their money is safe with you. And so mostly they'll go for something that is toned down, that is cool, that makes the people trust them. But then we want to be unconventional. We want to do something different with our brand, because our brand is for young people. We are trying to help them save. So we went for a blue that is very bright and vibrant. So, and then we went for our orange and then our yellow to give it that engaging, that friendly, and then the fun feel. So it's not, we don't want to make finance difficult for our target audience. So that's for our brand. This is what we chose for the color palette. So in designing any brand, you need to always consider the personality, the feel, the mood, the tone of the brand. So you can't go and use these bright colors for a very serious organization like a security firm. When you use colors like this, people would not trust the firm because they might think they are playful. They're just going to play with their safety. So we get what I mean. So it's very important that you always get the personality right. That's why I mentioned in the beginning that brand strategy is important and it should come first before you design any logo. So even if you're not a brand strategist, you can still guide your clients, or you can still design your logo or your brand identity system with these things in mind, understanding your business, and also for the designer, understanding your client's business very well, their goals and what they want to achieve. It always guides you to design the visual aspects of the brand. So how best do we use our colors? So always you have to make sure that you don't have cool colors on cool colors, because it wouldn't make sense. The colors, you wouldn't see what you have pasted on that background. It wouldn't be visible enough. So always warm colors over cool colors. And then here you can see, so we always want to make sure that the colors work together. So here you can see that our logos are very legible. You can see they are bold, you can see everything. So always bear in mind how you would use your logo. And you are trying to also sell your brand to people. So you want them to see it everywhere. So you don't want to hide it where they will not see it. And so after you have designed your brand identity, you have designed it. Now we have designed our logo. We've come up with our typography, and we also have our colors. You can design a brand guide. Now, a brand guide is basically a guide or a workbook that contains all the things, all the elements pertaining to the brand. So from the strategy, from the brand purpose, from the brand purpose, values, messaging pillars, everything that is entailed to the brand must go into the brand guide. But for this case, we are trying to design something simple. So we came up with just a brand sheet for you to see the visual aspects, which is our aim for this session, designing the identity aspect. So mind you that when you are designing the brand guide, it's basically like a book. You're trying to help them, your clients, you are trying to help them to be able to use the brand, to use their guide, and also for them to stay consistent with their brand. And when they onboard new people, new employees, new team members, they can easily share the brand values, the brand identity with them without losing touch. So if there's no brand guide, okay, today we see that green is nice, it's trending, let's try to use green. Then they try to use green. Okay, the next day we see that, okay, everyone is running towards sustainability. Okay, so our brand, let's also do sustainability, when you know that your brand has nothing to do with that. So the brand guide basically sets you on track. It gives you some kind of direction as to where to take your brand, and then consistency. So everyone, the more you use it, the more people understand what your brand is all about. So this is what we have, and this is, I hope I have been able to inform you about the basics of brand design and brand strategy. And I hope you have learned a lot from this. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can always send me an email, or you can visit my website, or you can also get in touch with me on LinkedIn, Nancy Chirwa Agyemang. I would always respond. So I'll leave it here for some questions, if there are any. Okay, Na has a question. Na, please, can you ask?
Hello, Nancy, and thank you for the session. It's been very insightful. So, my question is there an alternative to using Adobe Illustrator? I know that as a trial, then you pay. Like, let's say you can afford the paid version for now. Or is there an alternative, like a very good alternative?
Yeah. Okay, so there are so many other tools that you can use to design a logo. So I'm going to show you some of them. So these days we have tools like Canva that people use, especially for startups who are not they don't have enough funds to hire a logo designer, or maybe you don't have enough funds to buy the Adobe Illustrator software. You can always use Canva, but okay, from what we have learned so far, I'm sure if you are going to use Canva, you would know what to do. But using Illustrator gives you more freedom. But there are so many other tools that people use. Some people use Corel Draw, actually, and they use Sketch. These days, some people also use Figma. I don't know how they do it though, but some people use Figma for basically everything design. So you can also check that one out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Is there any more questions? Okay, so since we don't have any more questions, I'll share my contact details again. Yeah, so this is my contact detail. If you want to reach me, you can always send me a mail and I'll reply, or you can send me a private message on LinkedIn. So thank you very much for joining my session, and I hope you learned so much from it. And I can't wait to see some of you become brand designers and brand strategists and help your clients also. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the day.